Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the MechaWill Show. Today we are going on an adventure. And the game that we're going to be playing, obviously, as you can see right before your eyes, is the beautiful Dark Souls 3. This is the lovely game designed by From Software, well known to be the climactic ending, well fit for the ending of the series, of the Dark Souls series, which started with Demon Souls back in 2009. This, in case you guys don't know, is my all-time favorite video game series. And I was about to say of all time again, but that'd be a little superfluous, so I apologize for that. I haven't been on for a couple of days, so we just gave it a little bit of a rest after our Shadow of the Colossus Let's Play, which we just finished up. So if you're into Shadow of the Colossus, hey man, it's a great game. It's a great time to go watch that game with The Last Guardian coming up in October. So I just finished a great Let's Play. You can check that out. I'm sure I'll throw it in the description, or I'll be my usual self and probably forget about that. But we're having some fun here. This is some post-commentary. So basically, you guys want to know what's going on. I'm a large fan of the Dark Souls series. I play it all the time, but I was starting to get really kind of bogged down with different projects I was in the middle of doing and different job what's-its and whatnots, and just the wheels of life. I'm gonna tell you, man, like the wheels of life, they never stop. And sometimes you want them to stop. You want to get off, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and you can't. But so I was kind of stuck at a standstill with this Dark Souls game. I hadn't put it in for a couple of days. So, ooh, power within, baby. Anyway, so I really needed to finish up the game. This is me going through the game for the first time, and my buddy was a huge fan of the game, one of my coworkers, and he was just like, man, let's just go home and jam this out together. So I was like, all right, man. So we basically just sat down and finished off the rest of the game. As you guys can see, I had already gotten through a good chunk of the game past Irithil and all that bullshit. But now we're sitting here, we're sitting pretty, taking on these bad boys. So this is post-commentary to a blind Let's Play that was completed with a co-op Phantom that had already beaten the game. So there's about 4 or 5 things going on there that kind of make you go, what the fuck what are you selling me? I don't want to buy this, man. This is some used, secondhand, cheap merchandise shit going on right now, man. There's nothing authentic about what you're doing. You're right, there's a little bit of a loss of authenticity, but I don't feel like that's necessarily an issue, because some people just like to see me cream these guys. Look at that freaking axe, man. So this area is like a really coolly designed area. It's the Grand Archives. It's, I did read up and watch up on some different lore aspects here. I believe the Grand Archives is the kind of reincarnation of this era's, or this cycle's, Duke's archive from, that we know from back in the old DS1 days, back when old Seat the Scaleless, the Paleless, was ruling. See, he tried to get the quick backstab there, it didn't work. I just roast him, throw a little toasty roasty. Here's the thing, man, as much of a fan of pyromancy as I am, okay, I'll put it like this, I'm not a fan of pyromancy. Seems a little contradictory to what I just said. Yeah, I know, you can stop backseat gaming here, backseat commentary. You want your own channel? Go get your own channel. I really favor just a pure strength build for my first playthroughs in all of these games. I think it kind of helps me adapt to a lot of the boss situations and learn their moves a little bit better, because I probably die more often, with an all strength build as opposed to something like a, even an all dex build or an all magic build, at least in some of the other games. So yeah, I decided to go with all strength, and then when I do that, I'm like, it'd be cool to have like a buff or something. Hey man, hey, can you give me like a buff or something? And so I feel like, grabbing some sort of pyromancy, because that's the only thing my character would be able to do at that point. In case you guys are wondering about the build that I've got, I found Artorias' armor, so we'd obviously bend to the spot where you grab that, and we got some invasions going on. I remember Wilson. Wilson's my best buddy. You're gonna be a little disappointed in my buddy Alistair there. In case you guys are wondering who I'm playing with, I'm playing with on YouTube. He's known as Darkmoon Knight. So if you want to check out his channel, he's just gonna be posting up some different Dark Souls multiplayer videos. Good guy, a good player too. But you may be a little sad to see what this guy's gonna do to old Winston. I'm gonna tell you straight up right now my thoughts. So right now, obviously, I'm looking around for Winston, the player that just invaded us at the moment. And I think I saw a little flash of him right there, which is why I'm rolling up these stairs. Yep, there he is. Oh, baby. The big, fat wonder. And it's not because I feel like weight is an issue. See, look at him. He's doing his little cowering emo, and I was like, yo, what's up, dog? I was like, well, okay, no, here I was about to kill him. But then he's like, he got all jolly. And I was like, yo, what's up, dog? Like, you know, there's no reason why we can't collab, do a little collaboration. So he's like pointing me different ways. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm cool with this. I am definitely cool with this. I've got a +10 broadsword, which has a super short range, but just follow the plight of our warrior of sunlight, Wilson here. You go. Okay, so that's the first. The first thing is I accidentally left my friend, and I was like, sorry, dog. So Wilson gets off, and then I'm like, yo, man, bros before hoes. Gotta get the. Oh well. All right, let me recall the situation here real quick. This is the thing about post commentary. You fuck up once, it's like, okay. We see what your actions of the character were on the screen, and we feel like your motivations don't necessarily make up for or describe what you were trying to do. But anyway, and he pops up on the top. Hey, pass me the money. So at this point, I'm having a great time with this guy. You know, I throw the joy emote out because I feel like he's gonna leave me some treasure. This is the first time I've been to this situation, and then he pulls my goddamn favorite spell of all time, the chameleon. Or I don't know if it's an item in this game at all yet. Obviously, clearly, I haven't delved as deeply into this game as I wish. But Dark Souls 2 had a little chameleon item as well as the spell. But my boy Alistair was like, yo, dog, he's just leading us on. He was sending me some text messages. He was like, yo, man, like, I'm sorry I had to do that. I know you were having some fun there, but this is some serious shit. This is some real shit. And I just had to lament for Wilson because that man was my home. He was my hearth. He was my fire. And baby, I'll never see another like him. I can tell you probably the most annoying thing about this particular area is those hands. I don't like hands. I mean, I use hands on myself. I feel like they're useful when they're put to non-nefarious purposes. But these hands seem nefarious in and out. You feel like maybe if they were doing some like good work, like they're coming out of the books, right? But there's like multiple coming out of each book, so you feel like, you know, due to some nice ergonomical properties, these hands could probably clean up this library in tip-top shape. Get one of the hands to like start sweeping up with the broom, get the other one to hold the dustpan, get the third hand to like clean up the library books and put them in not alphabetical order. What's the name of the system that libraries use? I'm blanking on it, but you know, put it into that world famous system that we use to categorize our books between fiction and nonfiction and all sorts of other junk. So yeah, there may be some small pauses in this gameplay, at which point I will just like, you know, just do a brief, quick, you know, video fade effect to a different, you know, a little time skip because. You know, sometimes I had to like stop and like get a bite to eat or, you know, do normal human things, but it would pause the video. This is what it's, okay, man, I'm giving you real shit here. I'm giving you the realest. This is what it's like when you're playing video games. It's, you know, you stop. Sometimes you stop, especially even when you're with your friend. You give your friend a call or you're on like a chat session and you're like, yo, man, I need to just go get a snack. I'm feeling hungry. It's 12 o'clock in the morning. I need another spike of Doritos and Mountain Dew. Can you hold on for a moment? And most of the time they're like, yeah, dog, I need to go get some, like, you know, like a Red Bull from 7-Eleven. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And that does happen sometime throughout this this old gaming sesh that we did. But I'm glad that we conquered it on that night, and I'm glad my buddy was with me. You guys will be excited to hear that we did conquer all of the optional bosses too. So you guys can kind of get a taste of my blind reactions to pretty much everything in this game, which is great from this point onwards. The Grand Cathedral, which is where I'd left off on my own portion of gameplay. But this guy's weapon is boss, man. I started using this guy's weapon. I think, yeah, the Gargoyle Flamehammer. It's pretty good. It's got some fire damage built into it as part of its system here. I feel like I take it on like a boss. Let's see what I'm doing. Rolls on point. All right, a little strafe. Guy tries to crunch me, I keep up my shield because you got to do that. Physical block is out of this world at the moment, and we kind of crush him. You guys are familiar with Dark Souls co-op. It really just marginalizes the game to a very large extent, making the game a ton easier because you can double team and triple team. We don't ever summon any extra phantoms except one time when it was needed for a quest line. But I do feel a little bad about going through this, you know, the game. Normally I go through the game's blinds. offline by myself for the first playthrough, and then subsequent playthroughs I do. But like I was saying earlier, it's just the you know, it's just the hand I was dealt, man. It's just fate, baby. What can you do about it? Here I'm hearing the tinkling of some greats, a little crystal lizard. Hey yo, crystal lizard dog, come up on this spot. Let me show you how we walk. I'm gonna stab you in the gut. That didn't rhyme. But authentic, dog. You guys want authentic? That's what my vocal commentary here is for. Vocal commentary, again, just a superfluous choice of words there. But it's, look, man, I guess maybe redundant would be a better term for that. You know, you gotta spice it up sometimes. You know, this game is like very, very impressive for, like, I don't know how to quite rate this game yet. I would love to do like a you know, nice little review on the whole Dark Souls series. In fact, I'm working on a lot of Dark Souls related products. So if you're into that, you know, subscribe to the channel, because you'll start to get updates on different videos, and you'll see when I upload things. And I will be focusing on Dark Souls. So if you like that kind of stuff, great big old buttons right down below. But yeah, I've been working on stuff. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to give away my trade secrets. You guys know how it is. YouTube's a competitive business. If I give away my trade secrets to you guys, somebody will steal the video and do it better than me, because most people do things on YouTube better than I do. You really just gotta stick to your guns on what you bring, and I bring mildly humorous commentary. He's just shielding me now. He's like, bro, come over here. This kind of stuff I probably wouldn't have figured out on my first playthrough. I do like to explore, but sometimes it's like the platforming aspects. It's like, oh, go around here, and open up the shortcut. See it, and what is it? Just do a big old jump. Why don't you just do a big old jump, and you know, follow the messages. If you message, they will come. Titanite scales. So as you can see, it's all for real. I'm obviously not in New Game Plus. I got 99k souls. Oh shit, man. At this point in the game, like 99,000 souls was a ton for me. But anyway, anyway, like I was trying to get onto earlier, yeah, I'd love to give this game a quick, you know, review when I can, because there's so many like really wonderful set pieces and design choices and philosophy behind this particular game. Dark Souls series in general for sure, but this particular Dark Souls seemed to have a lot of like stuff that made me go, you know, that was really well orchestrated. Congrats to the developers, designers, and the artists, because there's a lot. Oh, can't get me. You can't get me, son. And I believe this was right after I'd killed that Irithil Frozen Knight dude in there, which is a shame, because that guy was kind of a tough battle. But I'm just following this guy around. For the most part, you know, I'd only explored about half this place, so I'm taking his word for it. Alistair, if you fuck me, well, I already know what happens, but with post-commentary, you gotta, you know, pretend. Sometimes you gotta act. Sometimes you gotta be an actor. I live out here in the great city of LA, which is 99%. You go to your local Ralph's, you ask the man at the teller what he wants to do with his life. He's like, I want to be the next James Bond. Follow your dreams, man. You know, follow your dreams. You're probably not going to get the skills required at your local Ralph shop. But you know what, man? I mean, okay, so let's dig into this. You know, Bond was always predicated on the perfect human being. You know, the books that were written about James Bond were about, you know, the man that we all want to be, the one that's great with the ladies, the one that has, you know, the knowledge, the sophistication, the physical abilities, the skills, he's got the style. He's got pretty much all of it. At this point, I was just like, yo, dog, like, you're just running me in circles. So wouldn't that tend to include something else that I highly admire in a Ralph's, you know, teller or cashier, which is the ability to properly pack a bag of groceries. To know when the weight ratio has become so out of proportion that you need to double bag because they're paper bags and they wouldn't withstand the weight. That's a serious science, man. All right, bring it on, dog. Bring the fuck on. And I almost got roasted there, but my boy took care of me, which is great. I was gonna do an emote, and then I was like, I'm not quick enough. And then I accidentally hit that button, and now we're all healed. So in that sense, the man at Ralph's is training to be James Bond. He's just starting from the bottom and moving up. He's not starting with the techniques that you would assume that one as a man that's named James Bond would do. Something like, you know, sophisticated, you know, gunplay, accuracy, you know, Federal Bureau of Investigation techniques on, you know, figuring out different parts of the crime scene investigations, you know, the old CSI goodies. But no, the man wants to start from the bottom and then get there. He's pulling the Drake route, and I respect that more than anything. Now that this guy's a little curious guy, he's just sitting in a chair, reading a book, overlooking the entire library. Seems to me like he was kind of important, possibly a step above some of these other charred corpses there. And as I can see here, I could R1 span. You guys wondering, are you just a scrub MechaWill? Yeah. But I have the Pontiff's left eye or something like that like increases my damage every time I you know, spam shit. It's basically the spammer's ring. You spam stuff and you get bonus points for it. And I took it, man. But I was very curious as to a lot of different things in the lore running into them, especially those little creatures outside with the wings. Those creatures outside, they have the wings, the fly. I don't know, it's Christopher Walken talking about Dark Souls. Is a chosen undead. You see, he makes a pilgrimage far to the north. All right, man. I get into it, and I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, yo, dude, that was kind of cool. That wasn't so bad. I give you like a 60% on that, and then I get in my own head, and I just like exaggerate it, and then it turns into all sorts of stuff. But one day I'll accomplish what I meant to. Oh, by the way, what you're witnessing right here is the most beautiful thing in existence. I lost him. You guys can go back to that moment like 5 seconds ago. The guy just disappears off the fucking screen. I'm like, what's up, man? Like, you know, I was following him around for the most part. So I wait here. This, you know, this is going to take a little while. I may do one of those skips I was talking about. But basically, I was like, it's just like, where'd this guy go? You guys can, like, seriously, I'm sure if you, like, delve deep into it, you can see something I missed. But, like, from the layman's perspective right now, like, as you're watching, can you tell me where he went? I don't think so. So I was just like, I was remembering something that my dad had told me when I got lost in the mall once when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And he's like, yo, you ever get, well, my dad doesn't say yo that much, but he's like, son, you ever get lost in the mall? Just stay in the same spot where you were before and we'll find you. Don't go running off trying to find us because that's what's going to make you get lost even more. And I was just admiring the scenery at this point. So I will keep this. I will keep this section in there because you guys all need my dad's life advice. That's life advice for anybody. You guys have your own kids. If they're gonna get lost in like a mall or something like that, just tell them to stay put, don't move. Find an adult, tell them what happened, but make sure they stay in the same general location. So if you guys just be like, oh, oops, we lost him in the local Kohl's shop, might as well go back to Kohl's, and there he is. He texted me, he was like, dude, where'd you go? Like, come on, man, I'm trying to lead you around. I'm like, dude, you disappeared on me. Don't you blame me for some faulty geometric, building architecture obscuring you from my point of view. It made it so that it was impossible for me to see you. Why is my voice getting all high-pitched and whatnot? It's because it was a serious thing. You guys want to judge me? You can fuck right off. I really hope the sips of this lovely beverage that I'm drinking don't get too much on the microphone, but you know what? It makes me sound like an NPR host, so I'll take it. Welcome to NPR News. In latest news, the Phantom Alistair has run away from me in the critically acclaimed hit Dark Souls 3 game. That's not something they do. So I was like, dude, this is like the best moment, because I was like, dude, let's double team, there's two, I'll get one, you get the other, and then I just fucking failed miserably. And I also got really scared, because there's a big old sound behind. What's up, dog? What's up? Come at me, bro. Come at me. And then I pulled that classic Dark Souls, like, I can't get this off of my screen because every time I attack, I can't click X. So, I apologize if I annoy you. Shield bash. Alright, that's where it left. And I have this guy take care of him. This is how it's done, man. Rolling like a boss. Going up the albatross on my way to Dark Souls in the Grand Cathedral, boss. Or Grand Archives, sorry. In the Grand Archives, boss. What's this drink I am delicately placing upon my palate at the moment, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's a delicious green tea beverage from a fine tea maker that's been around for at least, a half century, Lipton tea. Now, Lipton, they have a long storied history of making teas, and I trust them. And green tea being one of the most common, yet the most delicious teas in existence, really makes me proud to be eating Lipton green tea at the moment. And that is how you critical like a boss. And he's like, yeah. I was like, what up? I'm happy. I'm so very happy. Oh, I think that's the first time I really got a good look at that sun. It's, it is posted throughout the game, but in this game session, that's the first time I got to see that. And that sun is like, there's a lot of really great imagery going on with it, because it's the sun that's bleeding out and dying. Obviously, we've just gone through so many cycles at this point, the world is starting to collapse on itself. But also, if you're into Dark Souls lore at all, it's super cool that it's, it also looks like a dark sign. Like, that's the symbol for the dark sign. It looks like the whole world is getting swallowed by the curse. And I think that was done on purpose, not only imagery-wise, but maybe, that's actually what's happening. I'd have to look into it maybe a little bit more, but we're definitely at the end of a cycle that is at the end of most cycles. Okay, so my buddy here freaked me out. He's like, dude, just walk on, he's like, watch out for the 3. And I'm like, the 3 what? So I'm like checking these pillars like they're like it's a boss battle. Like, he really scared me. And I was like, it's gotta be these 3. It's gotta be this guy. If I hit him, it's gonna start a boss fight like the fucking Skeleton Kings in Dark Souls 2. And then I hit it and I was like, well, that's a little anticlimactic. And I saw the thing, I was like, what's going on? He's just chilling in the back. He's not even paying attention to me. Didn't help me out. And then I see these 3 guys and I'm like, oh, hey, you probably just meant that guy. And he's still not following me, so at this point I'm like, is this like a boss battle or something? And I see him pull out his bow, and I'm like, oh, you just want cheese. Guys, remember those old Goosebumps books, man? Say Cheese and Die? That was a good one. It just kind of came to my mind. You told me to leave you alone, and my Alistair said to come on home. My undead said take it easy, but your great axe was a much too strong. I'm a killing to you, slice and dice. Beautiful. It's the best rendition of a great Aretha Franklin tune ever. All right, this guy got a little crazy here. All right, so you gotta watch this. All right, backstabs, sweet, but like his combat weapon arts, man, they were going out of control. That may have been the only point, yeah, because we just roast and toast him at that point. But when he came out with that great axe, with that freaking weapon arts, my entire life flashed before my eyes. And we got the Golden Wing Crest Shield, which I didn't even know existed. But and then we just take them on one by one. So this guy, basically I had that guy, my buddy, old Darkmoon Knight, go after that NPC, and I was like, I'll take on this guy. It's not a big deal, man. He just has a bow and arrow. I can take on the ranged character, no problem. But then I realized this guy was also a fucking master swordsman. What's up, dude? You like a master swordsman? So I wasn't able to take him down in nearly as much time, but the jump attacks, man, baby, that's where it's all at. And I was like, I'm just gonna parry him and look like a boss, and then I didn't. You guys may be wondering why I have all of this lovely footage that happens to have no commentary over it whatsoever. Well, I just, on a whim, we were playing actually for longer than this video started, and I was just like, why not just record it? I may use it for, a montage, something, or whatever. I may still, but Then I figured I'd go over it a bit because it legitimately is like first reactions to a lot of different stuff, different shortcuts. I'll feign my reactions, you know, to be most accurate for the time in which I was playing. So this happened maybe a couple of days ago. He was like, welcome, you know, home or something like that. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. It's a bonfire. So then he just chilled on out, and so I could get into the bonfire and move on home. And as far as I'm aware, I wanted to go back to Firelink at this point to upgrade my, you know, different essentials and whatnot. So I did take a small pause here so I could figure that out, and then I do some bouncing around. So I think that I will leave this, call this an episode? Yeah, I'll leave this episode here. Thank you guys for watching so much. My Dark Souls 3 blind post-commentary, fuck you, fuck the world, Dark Souls is burned into the ground video. I'm sorry, it was so bad. I tried all my life to be something that I'm not. You get to the point where you realize that you're nothing. You'll never be anything. You're not worth anything. You don't make anything. People want to read or see or hear. Your very voice is something that until now you didn't realize how disgusting it was. So I apologize for that lack of ingenious commentary there. I wish that I had something else to throw on the platter. As a great chef sometimes makes shitty dishes, you know, I, as a great commentator, may sometimes fail. And that, you know, those corollaries just jumped all over the place because I was insinuating for a while that I was just like a really shitty human being, and then I moved on to like, I'm the greatest in the world, but I also just made a small mistake. So believe what you will. I like to leave the reader or the listener guessing. I found this emote, which is by far, check this out. It's by far my favorite emote. I could do this all day. Every time I like kill like a giant boss or I'm done with like a PvP battle, I just like go, ho hum, this is my day. It's just what happens. This is where he was like, you know, you should probably go spend all those souls, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. So here I go to spend the souls. See about spending these souls here, and if I do it relatively quickly, I'll end the episode afterwards. Welcome home, Ashen One. And touch the darkness inside of me. I should have been the voice actor. So as you can see, my build here, really just, I like to keep a good balance. Strength is obviously my primary focus, but a good balance between strength, vitality, endurance, and vigor. And those are pretty much the only things I touch for this playthrough. I should probably up dex, like up to 16. But as you can see, I've got my priorities figured out. And I hand over to my boy, Andre the Blacksmith. Talk about somebody that started from the bottom, now he's here. I wonder what Andre was like as a small child. Imagine if he still had that beard as a small child. It's something I wouldn't put past him. He's from Astora. He's not this human being. I mean, he is a human being, but this is a fantastical world and anything can happen. I tell you what, kids, you can do anything. You can jump off a bridge and turn into an airplane. You can do anything. I stole that from a Key and Peele sketch. I steal a lot of my jokes from a Key and Peele sketch. Tell you what, man, you want to stop watching me, just go watch Key and Peele episodes. It's basically me, but like 20 times funnier, and no video game content. And it looks like this is where I kind of get off the train for a moment and rest until I can get back to the bonfires. Thank you guys so much for watching. This episode is a fun one, so come on back. We'll be doing lots of things like the Nameless King and all sorts of different stuff on this adventure, so including some PvP. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the content, just go ahead and give it a subscribe because there will be more Dark Souls coming up. If you guys want to give the video a like, it really does help the series and the channel out a lot. And anyway, I thank you guys so much for being here. I hope to see you guys next show.